Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, here with my preview for Game Week 33. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated. Have a quick look back at Game Week 32, as well as going into my bus team for Game Week 33 and potential team selection. We'll preview the matches ahead, look at expected FPL points for Game Week 33, and also look at the captaincy polling data and EO projections. Right then, let's get straight into it. So first of all, game week 32 ended up on a red arrow, unfortunately, despite being slightly over the average, which obviously doesn't mean much at this time of the season when half the teams are effectively dead teams. So goalkeeping situation, Dubravka finally delivered, punched above his weight with 9 points. So no complaints there. A couple of save points off from a double-digit haul. I recall that just after full time, his points, a bonus point slightly dropped. So missed out on a 10-point haul, but I'm not going to complain. Anything which is 6 points plus with him is a massive bonus. Onto the defense, Gabriel 6 points, but at this stage of the season, I haven't got double Arsenal defense, and that was effectively a red arrow because so many FPL managers in the upper echelons and even in my rank tier have double Arsenal defense, so probably lost out there. Virgil van Dijk in a 1-pointer against United. At one point, could have potentially got a clean sheet, but it is what it is, so no complaints really. And then Ait Nouri, just 6 minutes away from a massive haul himself. He got injured. Almost seemed like the dream transfer when I sold out Kirkes for Nouri, and kind of feels like a -8 if I'm being honest with you. I was hoping he'd at least get past the hour mark, but of course Wolves did concede twice in the end. So even if he did play the full match, he would have probably got 5 points or 6 points at the very most. So no big complaints there. Onto the midfield, had to start Garnacho because Foden was deemed to be not starting ahead of the deadline. And I wanted to roll my 2 free transfers over into game week 33 so that I can plan for double game week 34. And in this instance, Garnacho couldn't get any fancy returns, although his involvement in United's attack against Liverpool was quite interesting. And then on to the remaining midfielders. I literally could have captained Mohamed Salah, Son, Palmer. I was looking for the upside because I am chasing, and it's a bit pointless if I go for the EO captain with my overall rank. So it was really a choice between Son. Really, there was not anyone else. I know his effective ownership would have been very low, and in the match against Nottingham Forest, you look at it, Spurs had 3 goals, and he just about got an assist. So got the bare minimum for me. But then if I went with Mohamed Salah instead, who got 8 points, I effectively lost out on 3 points there. But I'm not really complaining. It wasn't as if Mohamed Salah got a massive haul himself. Onto the strikers. Disappointing, really. Solanke and Muniz. Like Solanke against Luton Town, really couldn't get any goals. And then Muniz against Newcastle, again, double-edged sword because I had Dubravka in goal. So I'm not going to complain massively about this blank. He hasn't blanked much in recent games. And then Haaland with 8 points against Crystal Palace. You look back and think, well, they did score 4 goals and he got 1 goal involvement and got the 2 bonus points as well. So I think it's 5 goals in 14 since November. So Haaland is slowly picking up the pace. Obviously, he missed out a considerable amount of time due to injury as well. So yeah, his ownership is as high as it is. So no real issues there. Onto the bench, Kaminsky 2 points, Doughty 2 points, Zabani 1 point, and then of course Foden got absolutely nothing. So yeah, it was disappointing. Were there any upside transfers I could have made? The one reason why I ended up on a red arrow was because I didn't have Saka in my team. And if I wanted to get Saka in with double game week 34 in mind, I would have had to have sold Son. So there would have been a very, like, a bit of a gain there. But then at the same time, Son could have hauled against Forest and Saka could have blanked. So I did chase the upside there. So yeah, it's Could have been much more better. Not a deep dark red arrow, but I'm chasing and I just have to take more risks than I normally would due to my overall rank at this stage of the season. Now, onto my bus team as it stands for game week 33. So I've got 2 free transfers as mentioned. Got the deadline this Saturday at 11 a.m. So for now, Dubravka is the starting goalkeeper. Gabriel, Virgil van Dijk, starting defenders, alongside Ait Nouri. I'm not sure how long he's injured for. I bought him purely for the double game week, so it'll be somewhat disappointing if it's a long-term injury. And then midfield, literally, I could pretty much captain almost any of these options here. For now, I've got Foden as my upside chasing captain. Palmer, Monday night, will also have high effective ownership. Mohamed Salah will also have high effective ownership as well. Easily, you could say that Salah, Palmer, and Haaland will probably be 100% EO. So that wouldn't be a massive surprise for me. But I'd go for Foden purely for the upside. He got the rest last Saturday against Crystal Palace, so hopefully that will give him a chance to start in this match, even if his minutes might be managed. And then like Solanke and Haaland up top, hoping Solanke gets better luck against Manchester United. And then Haaland against Luton, it's a gift for him, really. So no doubt lots will want to captain him. Onto the bench, Kaminsky, yet Man City at the Etihad, easy sub. Muniz, sub 1 against West Ham United, bit reluctant to do that, but could potentially put Garnacho there. Just need to give it some more thought, really. But that is a question mark. Obviously, Zabani and Doughty comfortable sub 2 and sub 3. With that in mind, I'll preview the actual matches for game week 33. So first of all, we've got the afternoon kickoff. It's Newcastle United against Spurs. Both teams are vying for European football, albeit in the case of Newcastle United, Champions League spot it's probably out of reach, way out of reach for them. With Spurs, they're 4th right now, so in many ways it's a must win for both teams. I think they'll cancel each other out. I'll call that a draw, especially when considering that Newcastle United have got 3 wins in the last 5, and Spurs have got 3 wins in the last 5 as well. Onto the 3 p.m. kickoffs, Brentford against Sheffield United. Sheffield United, just when you think they're down, they show a bit of fight, and I've got no doubt they'll show fight in this fixture as well. Brentford was quite interesting. Tony didn't start in their previous game, so not sure what's going on there. And if Brentford aren't careful, they could be dragged into a relegation fight themselves, just 4 points away from safety. But I think Brentford will have enough in the tank here to beat Sheffield United. So, yeah, comfortable Brentford win at home. On to Burnley against Brighton. With Burnley, it was a really important match for them last week. And of course, they lost. And with Brighton, who are 10th, surprisingly, could they potentially still get like an outside Conference League spot? They could. So, still got plenty to play for. I'm calling that a Brighton win. Man City against Luton, comfortable Man City win, obviously. Luton could potentially score, knowing how City have conceded quite a fair bit recently. But yeah, I mean, that's easily a 3-0, 4-0, 3-1, 4-1 for Man City there. So no further chat there. On to Forest against Wolves. Again, Forest are literally just above the relegation zone on goal difference. And had Luton lost, then the buffer would have been slightly more bigger for them. But they're in a situation where every game is almost like a cup final for them. It's a must win. And you've got Wolves, who surprisingly are in 11th. And you've got Wolves, who are in 11th. So are they on the beach right now? Who knows? So I'm going to call that actually a Forest win. On to Bournemouth against Manchester United in the late kickoff on Saturday. Again, United showed some tremendous fight against Liverpool last Sunday. United, of course, who probably could miss out on a Champions League spot. They're just too far behind, 11 points off fourth spot. So still fighting for a European place nonetheless. And you've got Bournemouth in 12th. Are they on the beach? That's another question as well. I'll call that a draw. On to the Sunday matches. Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Liverpool dropping 2 points in the title race last Sunday was a massive blow for them. And then Crystal Palace, who are 14th in the league, they're 5 points away from relegation. Again, if they're not careful, they could get sucked into a late relegation battle as well. But of course, you have to say that's a Liverpool win. And then on to West Ham against Fulham. Again, with both teams, you could say that it's an evenly matched game. But of course, West Ham are in 7th place. Fulham are in 13th. And I'm going to call that a draw, actually. I think they'll just cancel each other out. And then Arsenal against Aston Villa. Again, we talked about cup finals for the teams in the relegation places. You can say that this is a cup final for Arsenal as well. Probably got the harder pathway of fixtures among those that are fighting for the title. But you have to really say that is an Arsenal win, albeit it'll be a difficult one with Emery returning to the Emirates, and no doubt he wants to put a spanner in the works there. So it'll be tight, but yeah, Arsenal win without an issue, really, depending on how fatigued they are after the midweek Champions League games. And then on to the Monday night game, Chelsea against Everton. Everton, who just really fighting tooth and nail to survive. They're getting all these penalty points going against them as well. 2 points above the relegation zone. Chelsea are 9th. Outside chance, well, I say outside, they're still in a good position, actually, to get a European spot, despite the mixed season they've had under Pochettino. You have to say that's a Chelsea win. Now, in terms of like further fixtures, just as a reminder for Double Gameweek 34, we've got Wolves and Chelsea. We've got Bournemouth, who have got Villa and Wolves. Palace, who've got West Ham and Newcastle. Everton with Forest and Liverpool. Liverpool with Fulham and Everton. And then you've got Sheffield United, who've got Burnley and United. And Wolves, who've got Arsenal and Bournemouth. So in terms of the coverage I've got right now, I've got Ait Nouri. I highly doubt I'll be getting any other players from Wolves. Maybe Sarabia if I have to get a make-weight player. Not going to get any players from Sheffield United for the double. And Liverpool, I've got Van Dijk, I've got Mohamed Salah. So I would be keen to get another Liverpool player, probably Diaz. Kind of feel that I missed out on him when I could have got him a few weeks back, but it is what it is. And Everton, got Forest and Liverpool. Yeah, won't be getting any Everton assets. Calvert-Lewin perhaps for the late run-in, but can't really justify selling Solanke or Haaland at the moment. Muniz perhaps, but just need to give that some more thought. Palace, I kind of feel they're on the beach, so can't really justify any of their players for Double Game Week 34. And then there's Bournemouth. Of course, I've got Solanke. Would I start Zabani? I'll think about it, but then can't really see them keeping any clean sheets in their next 3 or 4 games. But it's really the Arsenal coverage that I really want to lock in, apart from the Liverpool coverage. The fact they've got Wolves away, Chelsea at home, potentially at least 1 clean sheet there. So I definitely need to get triple Arsenal. I've left it far too late. I should have like invested in the double Arsenal defense a lot earlier as well. I think my way to get into double Arsenal defense might be Raya to unlock funds, but it has to be done really. So yeah, it is what it is, but I have to invest heavily with my 2 free transfers into Double Game Week 34 players as well. So any purchases I'm going to make, I could even do a -4, but I also want to see how the Champions League matches go, how fatigued or fit Saka is after the midweek game as well. But like Saka, number one, I need to get him in. Need to get an Arsenal defender in, and I want to get like a Liverpool attacker in as well. So bit of toing and froing, but that is my focus. And for those that are looking at this planner, this has come from FPL.team, and as it says on screen, the projections have been set by Planet FPL. Now onto the expected FPL points, again from FPL.team. We can see that in top spot, projection is that Haaland will get 8.58 points. No surprises there, considering he's got Luton at the Etihad, and subject to being rotation free, you could say that's a fairly accurate projection. Then you've got Mohamed Salah second, 7.61 points with his favourable fixture in his must-win game as well. And then in third place, De Bruyne with 6.47 points, with Foden also in joint third place as well with the same tally. Then you've got Saka just slightly behind them with 6.17 points. And then Solanke at home to United, just under 6 X FPL points. And then surprisingly, Mbeumo just under 6 points behind Solanke. And then you got Son with 5.70 points against Newcastle United. It'll be interesting to see actually if he can match that. But with Newcastle's defence being fairly leaky, wouldn't be surprising. And interestingly enough, there's a projection for Tony at 5.64. Remains to be seen if he'll start from the bench, but that's his projection there. And then lastly, you mentioned West Ham of Fulham, Jarrod Bowen, 5.55 points. Now onto the captaincy polling data for game week 33. I asked, who is the best FPL captain for game week 33? And just over 1,000 of you voted. And we can see, surprisingly, that Haaland has a significant lead over Mohamed Salah. Just under 7 in 10 are backing him, and just over a quarter are backing Mohamed Salah, with less than 10% backing other options. And that kind of surprised me because I thought, well, you've got Foden, you've got De Bruyne, you've got Palmer, who also can be in the mix as well. With that in mind, I'm projecting that Erling Haaland will have an effective ownership that will exceed 150% in game week 33. And of course, that's just factoring in the opposition. It's factoring in that he's shown some form recently as well. But you can't really argue that his effective ownership will be in that ballpark. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to go for a differential captain or if you're going to play it safe. And as always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated.